on a silent night, it may be a good atmosphere to write writers or stories reflecting the inner story. Let's start creating models in the midnight rider theme. Shift A to add the cylinders model to create the classic lamp. X to the face and change the size. Slowly X to the face to create the lamp detail. Shift A to add the cylinders model to from both ways. Shift A to add the UV spheres model to create the bulb. Select the face below and open the tool on top. Shift A to add the circles model to create the structure of the lamp. Select one point and delete the vertices. Select all points and place it to X to the face inside. Shift A to add one circles model. We will modify and change the value in the modifier. Shift A to add the cylinders model. In the process of creating lamps, we will also create other details about the internal structure, which may take a long time to complete. Shift A to add the cylinders model to create the lamp frame. Hold Shift and select some lines to create the structures of the lamp. Shift it, copy and move to the side. Place P and select the selection. Hold down the Shift key and select the top and bottom area and delete them. Extrude some face to add the detail for the frame lamp. As the bevel modify to smooth. Go back to customizing the lines we copy. Change the value in the depth box to increase the thickness, just like the structural line of lamp. Change the size to fit the frame of the lamp. Shift A to add the circle model to create structure for the top and bottom of the frame lamps. Shift A to add the cylinder model to create the structure of the top lamp. As the mirrors modified for the cylinders model. Shift D to copy the models and rotate 90 degrees. Shift A to add the cylinders model to create the decorations of the top lamp. Shift A to add the quill model to create the switch of the lamp. Place Ctrl R to add the line for the centers of the quill model. As the bevel modify to smooth, setting the camera to see the model before creating a new model. Shift A to add the cylinders model to create the pen. Delete one face. Select one point and move to the side to change the shape. Place Shift Alternate. Select one line and place F to add the face. Place Ctrl R to add two lines to the model. Select two faces and delete one of them. Squeeze the area of the rings of the pen tip before merging with the handle. As the bevel modify to smooth like others model. Shift A to add the cylinders model to create the handle of the pen. Shift A to add the planes model to create photos often worn in the handles of ancient pen. Place Ctrl R to add small lines to the model. Add one line for the center of the planes model. Hold Shift and then select a blank point to create a pattern. Add the solidify modifier to add the thickness for the planes model. Add the bevel modifier and change the value. Close the eyes of all models to add the new models easily. Shift A to add the Q model to create the ink bottle. X to the face and change the size to look like the ink bottle. Place I to insert the face inside. Delete the face inside. Add the bevel modifier. Shift A to add the Q model to create the ink inside the bottle. Tap to edit mode. Click right and select subdivide and change the value in the numbers of cuts. Select some points and move the uneven height to make the models look like the fleece is moving. Shift A to add the Q model to create the lid of the ink bottle. Change the size of the pens to balance the ink bottles model. Close the eyes of all model again. Shift A to add the pens model to create the letter. Select one line and extrude. Change a little. Add the solidify modifier to add the thickness for the planes model. Shift A to add the cylinder model to create the seals on the letter. Press Ctrl R to add the line to adjust the shape of the letter. Shift A to add the Q's model to create the tables model to set the scenes for all models. In this section, you can create more models, more decoration, or you can imitate model. Once you get the next neat desktop model, we will start to lay out the elements of the whole model. In terms of layout, it can be arranged according to preference and aesthetic. decorative models such as multiple snittic leather ties with love. Take the model to the tables in case it is too loose. Adjust the camera angle further to achieve a balance and beautiful shots that showcase the entire model. Shift A to add the plane's model and change the size to length to create the background. Change one scene to the shader editor to add a new materials. First materials add the wave textures and noise texture. Place Ctrl T to add the mapping and texture coordinate. Change the value in the texture nodes to change the pattern. Shift A to add the color lamp. Add the bump nodes to connect with the normals in principle. Add one noise texture to connect with the bump node. Change the color to a brown color tone. Shift A to add the color lamp and connect with the second noise texture. color material for the switch model. The frame lamp changes the color to a cream color tone and changes the value. Shift A to add the volume absorptions and connect with the volume in materials output. Change the value in the transmissions in the principal BSDF. As the mirrors for the statue of the lamp. Change the color to a gray and change the value in the matrix. As the finished material for the entire statue of the lamp. Delete the principal and add the emission node. Change the color in emission and change the value of the power. The glass material for the ink bottle and change the value in lockness and transmission. Add new material for the ink, change the color and transmission. As material for the pen tip, change the color and change the value in the material. For the handles, focus on noise textures to create a wood glance pattern. For feathers, it is mainly used as a guardian texture. The next material is a leather. Shift A to add the wave textures and noise texture to add detail to the model. Shift A to add the color lamp and change the color. The next material is the seal. As the guardian's textures and color lamp. Shift A to add the noise texture to more texture for this model. As the finished material for the others model. Shift A to add the noise texture for the loaf. Add the color lamp and bump note. For the tables, copy the wood material and change the color and value in the texture node. Shift A to add the noise texture for some of the materials to add more detail. Add the dark bounce color for the background. Shift A to add the point light and set it inside the lamp. Change the power of the light. Shift A to add the area light and change the size. Copy the area light and set it on the sides. Copy the area light and set it aside to provide enough light for the whole model. Copy the radar to set on the table. further adjust the camera angle to get the most beautiful image. This is the end of this video. If you have any question or want to make another model, you can tell us in the comments below. Finally, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. See you!